So, what if I told you that the reason why you haven't accomplished a lot of the things that you wanted to accomplish in life was because you were afraid, that your fear was holding you back, that your fear, the thing that is supposed to keep you safe, the thing that's supposed to keep you from going off the deep end, is actually the root of all of your problems? Would you then get into a space of wanting to confront that fear head on and learn what lessons this fear is trying to tell you about yourself? I think the conversation about how fear plays a huge impact in our lives, especially as creatives, isn't really talked about enough. Like, yes, we acknowledge that we are afraid of things, and we acknowledge that it's natural to feel fear when you're dealing with something that you've never dealt with before. But it kind of, the conversation always stops there. Like, you acknowledge the fear, but you never actually dig deeper into what the fear might actually be trying to tell you about yourself. And I think that that's what I want to start this series off as this fear challenge for me personally. And when it comes to YouTube and talking to a camera and talking to a void, essentially, what is this fear actually trying to tell me about myself? Can I lean into fear with a lot more curiosity and excitement and questioning rather than retreating and trying to stay in my comfort zone? And that's really why I'm making this video today, to face fear head on and do the thing that feels massively uncomfortable and see where it goes. I think that fear is that silent killer that a lot of us creatives tend to not see as maybe a potential signal that this is the thing that we should be leaning more into rather than retreating. Because if you're afraid of something, yes, those fears definitely could be rooted in reality. But what if this fear is actually keeping you stuck? It's keeping you behind, and it's keeping you stuck in your comfort zone. How much more could you elevate if you were to push past that fear and get a little bit uncomfortable day by day and doing things that make you feel scared and afraid? Obviously, like when we all start new things, especially when we're starting a new project or a new venture, it's natural to feel some level of resistance and fear. But I think that those signals from our body is really a telltale sign that this is something that we should be leaning more into. And that's why I've started this YouTube channel again, to feel the fear of what has been holding me back, but still pushing past it and pushing through it in order to get to the other side of fear and to get to another side of my comfort zone. It's obviously not easy to be sitting in front of a camera, talking to a void, and maybe talking to no one, and being okay with that. Everyone wants to see the fruits of their labor, especially as creative people. We want that external validation. We want people to see the work that we're doing and feel some type of resonation with it, to feel that you're talking to someone and someone is seeing the work that you're doing and having some type of an emotional connection to it. And I don't think that I would be able to get to that stage if I just stayed comfortable in my discomfort. It's not comfortable sitting in front of a camera and talking about the things that scare me. This in itself is very scary. This in itself feels very uncomfortable. But that's exactly the point. The point is to do something over and over and over again that makes you feel afraid until the anxiety level slowly reduces and you get better at doing that thing that makes you scared. For years, I've been trying to do this whole YouTube thing. I've been conceptualizing about a YouTube channel, and I've just always felt very, very uncomfortable about it. It's uncomfortable to put yourself out there in the world. It's uncomfortable to be seen as a beginner. It's uncomfortable to look like, hey, maybe this person doesn't know what they're doing, but that's kind of the point. No one starts anything looking like an expert. No one starts a YouTube channel having all the pieces figured out. Yes, there are those like anomalies and people who make one video and it pops off and they have this like instant fame and they can like build off of that. But for the majority of us, a lot of work and a lot of sacrifice is done in the silence. It's done when it feels like nobody is listening. It's done when you feel like you're alone in that process and you're questioning yourself about whether or not you're doing the right thing. But I think at the end of the day, if you're being true to yourself and if you're comfortable being vulnerable enough to look like a beginner, to look like you don't know what you're doing, that is the real challenge. Like that is the real exercise, to put in the reps to eventually get better at doing things. And YouTube is like one of those spaces where a lot of people try and fail and very, very few people succeed at this. And the point of this channel isn't to be the very few that succeeds. The point of this channel is for me to feel the fear, feel all the anxiety, feel all the angst that is penting up inside of me, and still just do it anyway. And I really want to invite you along with this journey on. I really want to invite you along on this process with me to discover what life could look like if we were to lean in a little bit more into our fears, if we were to lean in a little bit more into the things that make us uncomfortable, especially as creative people. Like we have such vast ideas to put out in the world, such amazing pieces of work that has yet to see the day of life because we're too afraid to start. We're too afraid to meet ourselves at an uncomfortable level. And I am very much speaking for myself here. There's countless amount of work that I have wanted to start and I just haven't because I have been afraid of how that might be perceived, how other people might receive it, how I might have to explain myself about this politically leaning artwork, and the work kind of has to speak for itself, especially if I'm doing it from a place of authenticity and a place of me trying to tell my story. The fear of what other people might think shouldn't be the goal. The goal should just be for me to do the thing and feel the fear and just do it anyway. And I'm hoping that through this series, I can help me and help you and help all of us experience the internalized fears that we all have surrounding a lot of things that we might potentially want to do, but still just like meet ourselves with a little bit of grace and show up through action. Because by putting action into the things that make us afraid, it becomes less scary over time. So I hope that through this journey and through this process, we can both start unlearning how to stop making ourselves small, stop making ourselves try to fit into boxes that we may not fit into, and start fully diving into ourselves and diving into the person that we know that we want to be, and slowly start weaving the fabric to make that a reality. I hope all of this is making sense, and it may not right now, but over time, as this channel progresses and as my confidence level continues to grow, just sitting in front of a camera and talking to a void and trying to be as authentic as I possibly can, that you might see a little bit of yourself in me, or you, me and you, or however that saying goes. But yeah, we'll see how this goes. But I want to introduce you to this fear challenge, and like that's kind of been my motto for this entire year, is to feel the fear and still do it anyway. Like, what is the fears that might be coming up inside of me trying to tell me? Is this actually something that means danger, or are all of these anxieties and the heart pounding, is this a sign that, hey, maybe you're just like really excited about something, but you just don't know where to begin? So where do you begin? You have to begin somewhere. You have to begin by just sitting in front of the camera and pressing record and putting it out there in the world, and not judging yourself too critically about it, because this whole thing is supposed to be fun. You're supposed to lean into your curiosity with a little, you're supposed to lean into your fears with a little bit of curiosity and a little bit of like what if, like, what if it all goes well? What if I don't know all the answers? Like, what if I look foolish, but I'm pretty sure that there's something to learn on the other side of your fears. So what is your fear trying to tell you? And how can you tap in more into that fear to come out on the other side a lot more stronger than you were today? So I hope we discover that together, and stick around for more. See you in the next video.